Hello traders, my greetings to each one of you. So in this video I will be explaining about fundamental analysis to be able to understand the news and the fundamental part more generally in forex trading so you can take advantage of the news. This is King of Forex from the 1% Club. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video. So as you know, fundamental analysis is a key topic from the complete trading skill set that you need in forex trading, and the complete trading skill set is available on my website, including the fundamental analysis topic, which is a one product. So here I will be giving a brief about fundamental analysis, and for the whole information definitely it's available on my website in this fundamental analysis product. Okay, so first of all, what you need is a website or actually a platform that provides the news, and the most reliable one, the oldest and the best, is Forex Factory. So you just have to visit forexfactory.com. Here you will have the calendar. So these are the schedule of the news with their timing, and you can select the right timing which is synchronized to your country. You can select any timing that is preferred or synchronized with your country. And here you have the currency, its impact, and the timing of the news release, as you can see. So you can know before it happens when the news are going to be released, on which currency do they have impact, or actually concerning which currency, and also what is the relative impact. So you know that before time, and that should be taken into consideration as a forex trader. Moreover, here you can click to see the detail, and here you will see if the news is in numbers, for example like this one, the MI leading index. Okay, so you will have the previous, the forecast if available, and the actual. The actual is actually the release. So the actual is the release, what happened on the release, the actual value that is released. And here you have the previous, so the last time released, the forecast, the expected of the actual, the forecast for the actual, and the actual is the true value that is released. And here the graph to see the past or previous performance of this data, this specific data. So I will start explaining them one by one. Moreover, here from the tabs you have the news. So if you click on the news, you will see here all of the news. Some news are not always pre-scheduled. Definitely some news appear immediately, and every time we have news, some of them are big and some of them are not big news. So you can always be checking from time to time the news section to be able to read and be up to date with the upcoming news in each instant in your forex trading. So this to be checked from time to time. The news have, so I'll be returning to the calendar, and also one other note. Here you have the metals news. So everything concerning the metals like gold or XEU USD, the energy and the crypto. So the news that are only specific for metals, you can click on this one and you will find them. Also same list as this one, but specific for each market. Okay, so here we'll start. As you can see, we have the whole currencies, and here we have the news that are pre-scheduled. News are important, definitely, because fundamental analysis is an essential part in forex trading. Fundamental analysis have big impact on news, and it provides high volatility in the market. So you have to understand fundamental analysis. Also, you don't need a previous economical knowledge to be able to understand the news. Definitely, if you already know economics, this would be better, but it's not a mandatory or a requirement. You just need to understand the essential in a simple way, and that's available in the fundamental analysis topic, which is one product on my website. Everything from A to Z about fundamental analysis. So here I will be giving a briefing, and let's start. First of all, here we have the AUD, we have MI leading index, and M/M. What does that mean? It means that this news is released on monthly basis. If it was Y, so it's yearly basis, and Q, quarterly basis. Okay, so here you can click on detail, and that's it. It's explained, the measure, it's the change in the level of a index based on 9 economic indicators. So here you have the usual effect, the actual greater than forecast, so actual, forecast. If actual is greater than forecast, that is good for currency. So here you know that if the actual is greater than the forecast, then it's good for currency. Upon release, you will see the actual. Before release, the actual is not available. You will only be able to see the forecast if the forecast is available, and therefore released on monthly basis. Also explained, usually the third Wednesday after the month ends. Okay, and here you can have more details like from where it's derived, the data, also more details about it, more notes about it. And here the related stories about it, and here the previous history, the previous data released. Also, you can move to the graph. You will see these data in a graph. Okay. Okay, so the impact. For the impact, you have some kinds of impact. As you can see, you have these four colors mainly. So for the yellow one, it's actually a low impact. Okay, for the yellow one, it's actually a low impact. For the red one, it's high impact, very high impact expected, as you can see. For the yellow one, low impact expected. For the gray one, non-economic, so for example bank holiday, so it's a non-economic data, and therefore no projection, no economical projection about it. It's a non-economic data. For the red one, high impact expected, and for this one, the orange one, medium impact expected. So yellow is the least, this one is non-economic actually. The orange one is high, medium impact, and the highest impact is red one. So when we are talking about big news, we mainly are talking about the red ones, and sometimes the orange one also have big impact. But mainly when we talk about big news, we are talking about the red ones, and also the news that are released suddenly without any pre-schedule. Okay, so this is in the news section, that are released suddenly. Something happened in worldwide and it was released and the market was impacted. So you start seeing high volatility in the market. The price start moving much faster due to this either high impact news or sometimes another news that is released suddenly in the news section. Also, sometimes news are released later on. So the trader have to be taking into consideration this part. Okay, so let's start with the important ones. For example, the CPI is an important high impact news. It's released on yearly basis, as you can see. So for this time, the previous value was 0.6. For the forecast, it was forecasted to be 0.6 also as previously, same as previously. But upon release, it was 0.7. And here you have to understand the colors. If the colors are green, it means the forecast, or actually the actual, is better than the forecast. Pay attention, it does not always mean the actual is better, but it's greater. Sometimes if the actual is less than the forecast, it would be better. While in other times, the actual higher than forecast, it would be worse. So it's not always if the actual is greater than forecast that is good. So the green one is good for currency. It's a positive result for the currency. While the red one is a negative result for the currency. Okay? And the black one is a neutral. Black one neutral. And usually black one is obtained when it's as same as the forecast, or actually, for example, like this one, we are talking about the 30-year bond auction. So for example, in this one, there's no forecast actually, so that's why it was also in black, because there's no comparing with the forecast one. Okay, so green is good, red is bad, and black is neutral. Also here, when you have the CPI, for example, you can click on it, and as you can see, it's the change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers. That's why it's a highly impact news, because it's the measure of the change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers. So if consumers, and as you can see here, the usual effect, actual greater than forecast is good for currency. That's why, since actual greater than forecast is good for currency, that's why 0.7 is greater than 0.6. Since this is good for currency, so 0.7 is highlighted in green. And why this is good for currency? Because as you can see from here, it's the average price of various goods and services, and then compared to the sampling done a year earlier. Okay, so why traders care? Here you can understand more about it. The consumer prices account for a majority of overall inflation. As you know about the inflation, inflation is important to currency valuation because rising prices lead the central bank to raise interest rates out of respect for their inflation containment. Definitely. If the inflation is getting higher and higher, so it means the economy is in the inflation mode, so prices are raising. Thus, what central banks do in this case is to raise interest rates, because raising interest rates will not allow anymore companies owners to have easy loans, because interest rates are higher. Thus they are unable to take a loan again, and thus therefore they are unable to expand their company and their work anymore. So in this case, the inflation rate will start to decrease, because once the interest rate is higher, so the production is less. One of the key examples is that company owners or business owners are not able to take loans to buy raw materials or actually expanding their work, and therefore the price will get less also. Okay, also the reverse, sometimes central banks sometimes make interest rates higher or lower actually, in order to increase this rate. Okay, so here the actual is greater than the forecast, definitely, because consumers are consuming more, they are buying more. Okay, they are buying more, as explained here. Consumer prices account for a majority of overall inflation. Definitely, if consumers are buying more goods, if consumers are spending more, this will lead to a higher inflation rate, because here we are increasing the demand for the supply, and thus the price will be increasing, and this will lead to higher inflation. Inflation is important for currency valuation, because rising prices lead central bank to raise interest rates out of respect to their inflation. And that's it. Everything is taken as the average price of various goods. And so that's why, so since consumers are buying more, spending more, so this indicates that that's good for the currency. It's moving forward. Let's move to another one. This is the core CPI. As you can see, it's in yellow. Does not have a high impact as CPI, but here they are released at the same time. So for core CPI, it's the change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers, excluding the volatile food, energy, and so here we are excluding some things from the CPI. That's why it's called core CPI. Also, you have these. You have also core retail sales, which is released monthly, one of the highest impact news, actually greater than forecast, is good for currency, and also it's released monthly. It's the change in the total value of sales at the retail level, and that's it. The retail sales, which is very well known, and you have the unemployment rate, which is very good. And here, as you can see, it's day by day. For example, for this day, it has ended here, and here we have started another day. You have the unemployment rate. You have also the FOMC meeting minutes. These are one of the highest impact news release. So the trader should always be taken into consideration the news and paying attention to the news, because the news mainly provide high volatility in the market and they are pre-scheduled, so the trader can know about them before they are released. And always to keep an eye on the news section for instant news release. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching. See you in my next videos.